The day you retire is supposed to be one of the best days of your life. Decades of work, decades of contributing, decades of waiting for the moment you finally get to stop and collect what you earned. But for hundreds of thousands of Americans every single year, retirement day becomes the day they make one irreversible decision that quietly costs them tens of thousands of dollars, sometimes more, over the rest of their lives. And the devastating part is that by the time they realize what happened, it is too late to fix it. The decision has been made. The paperwork has been signed. The option is gone forever. I am talking about your pension payout election, the single most financially consequential decision most retirees ever make. And most people make it in under 30 minutes, under enormous emotional pressure, with almost no real understanding of what they are actually choosing. Today, I am going to walk you through exactly what this mistake is, why so many people make it, what it actually costs them over a typical retirement, and the specific questions you must ask and answer before you sign a single piece of pension paperwork on your retirement day. Stay with me through this entire video, because the section on survivor benefits is the one that destroys families financially after one spouse passes, and it is the section that most retirement counselors spend the least amount of time explaining. My name is Dr. Diane Marshall. I spent over 2 decades working inside the federal legal system. I have seen what happens to families when a retirement decision that seemed reasonable on day one turns into a financial catastrophe that unfolds slowly over years. That is what this video is here to prevent. Before we go further, subscribe right now to Alert Americans and turn on notifications. Every week, I bring you the information that protects your money, your rights, and your future in plain English. Hit that subscribe button now. Let me start by explaining exactly what a pension payout election is and why the timing of it creates so much danger. When you retire from a job that provides a defined benefit pension, your employer or pension administrator presents you with a set of options for how you want to receive your pension payments. These options are called payout elections, or distribution options, and they typically include several different structures, each with different monthly payment amounts and different rules about what happens to your pension after you die. The critical problem is this: you must make this election before your pension payments begin. In many cases, you must make it before your official retirement date, and once you make it and payments begin, the election is irrevocable. You cannot change it. You cannot undo it. You cannot go back and choose differently, no matter what happens to your life circumstances after retirement day. The people presenting these options to you are typically HR representatives or pension administrators. They are not financial advisors. They are not required to explain the long-term implications of each option in detail. They are required to present the options and process your paperwork. Many retirees feel rushed through this conversation on one of the most emotionally overwhelming days of their professional lives, and they make a permanent financial decision without fully understanding what they are choosing. Here is the specific mistake that costs people the most money: the single life annuity trap. When your pension administrator presents your payout options, one of the options will almost always be the single life annuity. This option pays you the highest monthly payment of all available options, and because it pays the most per month, it is the option that most retirees instinctively choose. What the single life annuity actually means is that pension payments are made only for your lifetime. The moment you die, payments stop completely. If you are married and you predecease your surviving spouse receives zero, nothing. Not a reduced payment, not a lump sum, zero. The pension ends the day you do. Many retirees choose the single life annuity because the higher monthly payment is immediately appealing. They reason that they will use the extra money during their lifetime and that their spouse will have Social Security and other savings to rely on. They do not run the actual numbers of what their spouse would need to live on after they are gone versus what will actually be available. The alternative options, typically called joint and survivor annuities, pay a lower monthly amount, but continue making payments to your surviving spouse after you die, at either 50%, 75%, or 100% of your original benefit, depending on the option you choose. The difference in monthly payment between a single life annuity and a 100% joint and survivor annuity can be anywhere from $50 to several $100s per month, depending on the pension. Many retirees look at that difference and choose the higher payment because they focus on what they are getting today rather than what their spouse will need after they are gone. Let me put real numbers on this so you understand the stakes. Imagine a pension that pays $2,000 per month as a single life annuity. The 100% joint and survivor option pays $1,700 per month, $300 less. The retiree chooses the single life annuity for the higher payment. The retiree lives for 15 years after retirement. Over 15 years, they collect an extra $54,000 in the higher payment. Then they pass away. Their surviving spouse, who may live another 15 or 20 years, now receives zero from the pension. If the joint and survivor option had been chosen, the surviving spouse would have received $1,700 per month for the next 15 to 20 years. That is between $306,000 and $408,000 of income that the surviving spouse will never receive. The retiree gained $54,000 in their lifetime from the higher payment. Their surviving spouse lost potentially $400,000 of income over their remaining years. That is the math that most people never run before they choose the single life annuity. Now let me walk through the other major pension election mistakes that cost retirees money. Mistake number 2, taking the lump sum without understanding the tax consequences. Many pension plans offer a lump sum payout option in addition to or instead of monthly annuity payments. The lump sum is the total present value of your pension paid out all at once. And for many retirees, the lump sum sounds enormously appealing because a large single payment feels more tangible and controllable than a monthly income stream. The problem is twofold. First, the lump sum is subject to income tax in the year you receive it, potentially pushing you into a significantly higher tax bracket for that year and reducing the actual after-tax value substantially. Second, managing a large lump sum requires investment discipline and financial knowledge that most retirees have not previously needed, and the risk of poor investment decisions or of simply outliving the money is real and significant. A monthly annuity payment that continues for your lifetime, or for your lifetime and your spouse's lifetime, provides guaranteed income you cannot outlive. A lump sum invested poorly or depleted too quickly provides no such guarantee. If you are considering a lump sum option, you must model the after-tax value, compare it to the lifetime income value of the annuity option at realistic life expectancy assumptions, and understand precisely how you will invest and manage the funds before you make this irrevocable choice. Mistake number 3, not understanding the pension offset rules if you also receive Social Security. Many people who receive a government pension from a state or local government employer are subject to what is called the windfall elimination provision or the government pension offset. These provisions can reduce your Social Security benefit or eliminate your spousal's Social Security benefit entirely based on the amount of your government pension. Many government employees approaching retirement have no idea these rules exist until the moment they apply for Social Security and discover their expected benefit has been dramatically reduced or eliminated. The windfall elimination provision and the government pension offset are among the most financially surprising rules in the entire retirement benefit system for the people they affect. If you have worked for any state or local government employer and you are expecting to also collect Social Security, either on your own record or as a spousal benefit, you need to specifically ask your pension administrator and the Social Security Administration about how these provisions apply to your situation before you retire. Mistake number 4, Failing to name a beneficiary correctly. Every pension plan requires you to name a beneficiary. Many retirees name their beneficiary carelessly or name a beneficiary whose relationship to them has changed since they originally made the designation. A beneficiary named 20 years ago may be an ex-spouse, a deceased parent, or someone who is no longer the appropriate recipient of your pension benefits. Some pension plans require spousal consent to name anyone other than your spouse as a beneficiary. If you name someone other than your spouse without proper spousal consent documentation, the designation may be invalid. Some pension plans also have specific rules about contingent beneficiaries that most participants never read. Review your beneficiary designation every single time there is a major life change: marriage, divorce, death of a beneficiary, birth of a child or grandchild. Do not assume the designation you made years ago is still appropriate or even legally valid under your current circumstances. Mistake number 5. Retiring before understanding the cliff vesting schedule. Many pension plans use what is called cliff vesting, meaning you must work for the employer for a specific number of years before you are fully entitled to your pension benefit. If you retire or leave employment before reaching full vesting, you may forfeit a significant portion of your pension entitlement. Some retirees, eager to leave a difficult work situation or responding to health issues, retire a year or even a few months before reaching full vesting without realizing how close they were to a substantially higher lifetime benefit. A few months of additional employment can sometimes mean tens of thousands of dollars in additional lifetime pension income. Before you set a retirement date, verify your exact vesting status and understand precisely how many additional months of employment would be needed to reach the next vesting threshold. Let me tell you about Richard and Barbara. Richard retired at 64 from a manufacturing company after 31 years of service. He had a defined benefit pension and was presented with his election options at a meeting with HR that lasted about 40 minutes on his last day of work. The HR representative explained the options clearly but briefly. The single life annuity paid $2,300 per month. The 100% joint and survivor option paid $1,900 per month. Richard and Barbara had discussed finances over the years, but had never specifically modeled what Barbara would need to live on after Richard was gone. In the meeting, Richard focused on the $400 monthly difference. He thought about their upcoming retirement travel, their home repairs, and their desire to help their grandchildren with college. $400 extra per month felt meaningful in the moment. He chose the single life annuity. Richard lived 11 years after retiring. He and Barbara enjoyed their retirement. Then Richard passed away at 75. Barbara, who was 72 at the time, had another 16 years ahead of her. The pension payments stopped the day Richard died. Barbara had Social Security, she had some savings, but the loss of $2,300 per month in pension income created a financial reality that neither of them had fully planned for. She sold the home she had lived in for 30 years. She moved into a smaller apartment. She reduced everything. The $400 monthly choice that Richard made in 40 minutes on his retirement day cost Barbara over $400,000 of income over her remaining 16 years. Richard was not careless. He was not irresponsible. He made a reasonable-seeming decision under time pressure without fully understanding the long-term consequences for the person he cared about most. Here is your complete action plan. Step 1. Request your pension election options in writing, at least 60 days before your planned retirement date. Do not wait until your final days of employment to review these options. You need time to model the numbers calmly without emotional pressure. Step 2. Run the lifetime income calculation for every option. Calculate the total lifetime income of each option at realistic life expectancy assumptions for both you and your spouse. Do not just look at the monthly payment difference. Look at the total lifetime value to your household if you live to 80, to 85, to 90. Step 3. Model what your surviving spouse will need. Sit down with your spouse and specifically calculate what monthly income they will need to maintain their standard of living after you are gone. Compare that number to what will actually be available from Social Security, savings, and each pension option. This calculation must happen before you sign anything. Step 4. Ask your pension administrator these specific questions. Is this election irrevocable once payments begin? What are the exact survivor benefit amounts under each joint and survivor option? Are there any pop-up provisions that restore the higher payment if my spouse predeceases me? How does my pension affect my Social Security benefit under the windfall elimination provision or government pension offset? Step 5. Consult a fee-only financial advisor before you make this election, not a commission-based advisor who earns money by selling you products. A fee-only advisor who charges a flat fee for their time and whose only financial interest is giving you accurate advice. A 2-hour consultation before making an irrevocable pension election is one of the highest return investments any retiree can make. Step 6. Review your beneficiary designation at the same time you review your payout election. Make sure your named beneficiary is still the right person, that the designation is legally valid, and that you have contingent beneficiaries named appropriately. Before I close, let me address 3 myths about pension elections that are costing retirees money right now. Myth 1. I can change my election later if my circumstances change. False. In virtually all defined benefit pension plans, once you elect a payout option and payments begin, the election is permanent and irrevocable. There is no changing your mind, no adjustment for changed circumstances, and no appeals process for poor decisions made at retirement. Myth 2. The single life annuity is the smart choice because I will invest the difference. This argument requires you to actually invest the monthly difference consistently, earn a sufficient return, and not outlive the investment. Most retirees who plan to invest the difference do not do so consistently, and none of this planning protects your surviving spouse from the loss of pension income after you are gone. Myth 3. My spouse will be fine because they have Social Security. Social Security was designed to replace approximately 40% of pre-retirement income. A pension that stopped paying at your death, combined with only one Social Security check, frequently leaves surviving spouses in genuine financial difficulty, particularly as they age and healthcare costs increase. Let me bring everything together. Your pension election is not administrative paperwork. It is one of the most consequential financial decisions of your entire life, and it is irrevocable the moment you make it. The single life annuity pays the most per month, but leaves your surviving spouse with nothing. The lump sum sounds appealing, but carries tax consequences and investment risks most retirees do not fully account for. The windfall elimination provision and government pension offset can devastate the Social Security benefits of government employees who never knew these rules existed. Request your options in writing 60 days in advance. Run the lifetime calculations. Model what your spouse will need. Ask the 4 specific questions. Consult a fee-only advisor. Review your beneficiary. And do not sign anything under time pressure until you understand exactly what you are choosing and exactly what you are giving up. If this video helped you, hit the like button right now and share it with someone you know who is approaching retirement. One share could save them and their spouse hundreds of thousands of dollars over a lifetime. Subscribe to Alert Americans, because every week we bring you exactly this, the information that protects your money, your rights, and your future before it is too late to act on it. Stay protected. I will see you in the next one.